Blaine, Doyle of GlowDx. Welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Thanks very much.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about GlowDx and what you guys do?
GlowDx have put together the world's first accessible diagnostics platform. Accessible meaning that the 390 million people that are affected by dengue every year have access to diagnosis that they normally don't have access to. First, looking at dengue fever. Now, dengue fever is a hemorrhagic fever. It basically is prevalent in Central America, South America, Asia, and it's actually creeping into Europe at the moment with the mosquitoes moving in. So what we've done is we've put together accessible diagnostics because people in these countries don't have access to diagnostics based on, one, the resources they have, but also the cost. So the current cost of a test in Honduras, which is a target market, is $113.
You've discovered this firsthand as well.
Yeah, so literally I was in Honduras a month ago. I came down with dengue fever. And I know it's first-hand experience for me, in company-wise, but at the same time, it was quite unfortunate.
Must have been very frightening.
Yeah, it was a different experience from any kind of illness I've ever had here in Ireland. It's really now grim. So what I did was went to my local clinic in Honduras, which was in El Sitio, which is a small village. And I went through the public system, and basically every morning I had to go back to that clinic for a blood count. And that's all they were basing their diagnosis on. Now, I was told first I had food poisoning, then I had chikungunya, which is another kind of viral disease, and then by the time they got round to the blood counts and said, right, okay, this was nearly 24 hours later, they're saying, yeah, you have dengue. And even still, all they diagnosing was suggested dengue, and that was kind of suggested because they had actually no proper test to say, this is definitely dengue.
So GlowDx is almost like a roadside test for dengue fever.
Yeah, what we've done is we've tailored it to be as user-friendly as possible for people in developing countries who have limited resources. So at the start, we reached out to 13 labs across Honduras, and we found exactly what they had in their labs and what kind of training they had, and we were able to tailor our solution then to that. So basically, what the kit does is it recognizes the virus in the blood sample, it copies that up to a detectable level, and then tags it fluorescently, so that when you, at the end, you actually have a glowing tube, and it doesn't mean you have to interpret any results. So you don't need a doctor to actually say, yeah, you have dengue fever. The tube will either glow or it won't.
Oh wow, hence GlowDx.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
GlowDx, yeah, that's it.
And why dengue fever?
Well, dengue fever was kind of marked by the WHO as one of the most kind of common diseases and the most prevalent at the moment. So we kind of took that on ourselves to kind of say, look, there's 390 million people affected here. There's also a further 4 billion that are living in dengue-infected areas. So those people have the actual the opportunity to get this disease. So that's we kind of said, this is a massive world problem, and we want to solve it.
So it's a huge market size,
yeah,
but it's also a huge problem to solve.
Exactly.
Which is probably more interesting for a scientist.
Exactly, and as well as that, like, it contributes massive to the poverty cycle. You have people, if they get sick, then you have the government pushing resources into this disease, and then you have all sorts of other problems that come down the line, and the economy actually suffers as a result. So it's a massive cycle of poverty.
And your co-founder is actually from Honduras?
Yeah, my co-founder is Yancy Flores. She's from Honduras. She set up the Honduras' first molecular biology lab, and then came over here on a scholarship to Cork, and that's how I met her.
Wow, so how instrumental then was the university in helping you guys to build out this product?
So 3 of us came together here in UCC during the Masters of Molecular Cell Biology with bioinnovation, and that was kind of molecular cell biology with business. So that kind of gave us the background for the business idea, well, not the business idea, but the actual business, the tools necessary.
Because you're a scientist.
Yeah, I'm a scientist.
Did you touch on any business skills?
We had marketing, we had business planning, finance, and IP law, which was very helpful. Like when we came to actually put together business together, and then also my business partner has an MBA, so that was extremely helpful in getting things rapidly moving.
Was it an idea you had independently or together?
So what it was me and Yancy had basically had a conversation over coffee one day, and we wanted to start a business. We weren't sure, we were tossing around different ideas, and then we came across infectious disease, which was a hot topic for both of us. We really been reading stuff about dengue fever and infectious disease for years, and the same with Yancy, and she had personal experience with this when she was 8. So when she had 8, her and her dad got dengue fever, and it was kind of a personal thing for her.
It must have been a very long drawn out affair. I presume she had a similar experience that you had.
Yeah, she was hospitalised. It was actually a lot worse, and it kind of that's what prompted us to say this is a problem. If you actually get a diagnosis, you can bring and treat it properly, you can bring the fatality rate below 1%.
Really globally.
But without a diagnosis, and if you let the disease run its course, you can bring that mortality rate right up to 70%.
And what's the current WHO number?
Roughly, it's 2.5% mortality rate, but 390 million people are affected every year by it.
And it's completely unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary, and even you can say 390 million people, but anywhere up to 520 million people actually get the disease, and there's not recorded enough cases, and therefore not enough resources to push towards this problem.
You're going to take this as a business because maybe it's going to be neglected as part of an aid project.
Yeah, as an aid project, I think that it just doesn't pan out. There's not enough kind of resources to go around. I think if you put it as a business and you actually strategically do make alliances and you strategically do the economics behind it, you can make it work.
And how are you going about building those alliances?
We basically, I've said we've reached out to 13 labs across Honduras. I went during my trip to Honduras. We reached out to a lot more, and we even got backing from the public system, which we thought would be quite hard, but they were very, very open to what we're doing. And as well as that, we've reached out to universities in Honduras, and we've actually got we're beginning a collaboration soon with the UCC and the Honduras University.
Fantastic. So what's next on the roadmap? Do you need to raise money, or what's the next big
We're
milestone?
raising money at the moment up to 700,000 euros, and that's basically to get us through validation and get us to market, and also start a chikungunya project, which was the world's fastest emerging disease at the moment. And even when I was in Honduras, that's a massive problem as well. It was another thing that kind of stuck out for me, as everyone had it. When I was in the hospital, in the waiting rooms, there was kids, women, children, or women, men, everything. It was mad.
This is a huge problem to solve. Blaine, it's such a great story, and I wish you the best of luck with it. I'm really inspired today by hearing the story and hearing where GlowDx is going. So how can we keep in touch?
Yes, we're in the journal this week, in journal.ie, and we're also, if you follow us on Twitter, we keep regular updates, especially with our blog. Our blog is linked to Twitter, so just keep in touch with the Twitter, and you can actually follow us the whole way along.
And
we
what's your
document that
handle?
perfectly. It's @GlowDx.
Fantastic. Blaine, thanks very much for speaking to us today.
Thanks very much.